Now it's time for Movie Friends with your hosts Michelle and Seth. We're talking film without pretension. We're finding cats that are unexpected. We'll watch a movie, film, or schmovie, and we want you to join our journey. So subscribe and share this podcast, or this might just be the last of the Movie Friends. We're movie friends. We want to be your movie friends.
Hey, welcome to Movie Friends. I'm here with my friend Schuyler, who is trying to think in French.
And I'm here with my friend Seth, who is the greatest living philosopher and father of empathicalism.
That neither of those things are true, but hey, Schuyler, welcome. Yeah, one day maybe, one day, yeah. You are not Michelle.
I'm checking, looking around. No, I don't think so.
Now, that's not my way of saying, hey, you're no Michelle. But yes, right. Yeah. I mean, no one is Michelle. Sometimes Michelle isn't even Michelle. But listeners, yes, Michelle is on vacation this week. And so rather than skip a week in this incredible theme that we find ourselves in, the films of Edith Head costuming, we were like, hey, what if we get Schuyler to join us for an episode, since he's the one who actually nominated this theme to begin with. So Schuyler, welcome.
Thank you. And I know I have some big shoes to fill, or I guess I don't know Michelle's shoe size. They might not be that big, but I'm going to do my best.
She wears a size 12 in men's.
Oh boy, I'm going to really struggle to fill those, I gotta admit.
Okay, so what's going on? What's happening?
Well, I guess this week today, actually, I'm celebrating the 1 week anniversary? What's a 1 week? It's not an anniversary, that's a year. Semiversary. Anyway, of my last...
The week-iversary.
Yeah, the week-iversary of my last cancer treatment.
Very good.
Just
very
wrapped
exciting.
that up last Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. And if any of you follow Schuyler online, you'll have seen that he will post photos from treatment of him watching movies. and not the type of movie that you would want to be caught watching in cancer treatment. It's not like Citizen Kane. He is watching like garbage, I'm just gonna say. I mean,
well, Transporter 2 was not that good, but the last one I watched was to follow along with the show, but I'm a cheerleader. I did verify with my 17-year-old daughter who's watched it beforehand that it was appropriate to watch in public, because I started watching it and the first scene, and I'm like, not sure that I want to be watching that while all the nurses are going back and forth. And so it turned out okay, though.
You don't want to be the creep in cancer treatment.
You really don't.
I mean, I'm sure you'd get a lot of sympathy there, but all sympathy has its point,
Right. Yeah, and it's nice. Yeah. It's really nice to be done, though. I mean, I still have to take not to reveal my entire medical history on your show. This might be a HIPAA violation. I don't know.
Please go.
But I still have to take a medication for another 8 or 9 months or something. But I don't have to go in and get an IV and all that anymore. That's done.
Very good.
Very good. So I got to watch movies while I was doing the treatment. And then the next day and a half, maybe 2 days, I was feeling pretty crappy. And so I did nothing at home but watch movies. I'm going to kind of miss that. I had 2 dedicated days a month to just rattle through my my DVD collection. And now I don't.
So it was almost worth it, is what you're saying.
Almost.
Yeah,
maybe
almost.
Yeah, that remains to be seen. We'll see how I do in August when I don't have anything.
Yes,
and how I deal with that lack of freedom.
Yeah, got it. Well, hey, I'm very excited that you're finished, and it was a little stressful. I got to tell you, to watch from afar. I was like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do. So I just really hope that things work out, and I'm glad to see that they are so far. So.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And this was my second time going through it. So it was a lot less stressful for me this time. And so, I'm treating it kind of flippantly, and I appreciate how that might come across to people that don't know the whole history. They're like, what the heck?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine going through something like that, but I also know myself, and I feel like I don't know. I don't think I would be a good I wouldn't handle it the way that you're supposed to, I think. I think I would probably make everything into a joke. So, I appreciated your humor through it.
I did that the first time too. I'm just remembering that it was a lot harder the first time, I will say. It was a lot stronger of a treatment. But on the fifth time going in for an infusion, I posted something. This is back in when I still used Facebook very occasionally.
Sure.
A parody lyrics to Mambo Number 5 by Lou Bega, but Chemo Number 5. I'm not sure how that went over with a lot of people, but that's you got to do what you got to do.
You have to do what you have to do. Now, you had mentioned watching movies to keep up with the show, which is probably Michelle and I's biggest honor is when someone says that they watched a movie because of the show. I don't know why it means so much more to us than anything else. But I know that you watched last week's movie, The Ladies' Man, Jerry Lewis. And while Jerry Lewis used to be a major, major movie star and just entertainment icon, I feel like this is kind of an underseen movie. So, listeners, I assure you, we will get to Funny Face, but I have an opportunity to talk to someone about The Ladies' Man, and I'm going to take it. What did you think about that?
So I maybe watched a Jerry Lewis movie as a kid. Maybe I saw The Nutty Professor. I don't have any memory, but so I was kind of going in blind, and frankly, I was kind of completely blown away. Those French dudes were onto something in the 60s. Like,
yep.
He's a total weirdo and bizarre humor, but like a genius. That set was incredible. Like the whole movie, I was captivated. So I think I probably ended up about the same place as you, like 4 stars, because some of the things don't land. But about 10 minutes in, they repeat, like frame for frame, a scene where he freaks out about what was her name, Faith or something. I'm like, we just saw it, and then they go back and do it again, and I'm like, this guy is operating on a level I've never seen before.
I love when a movie is like, remember that thing that you just saw? I'm going to show it to you again. And sometimes they do it in a not good way. But here I felt it fit in with clearly there's a dedication to the craft of filmmaking throughout the film. But he is not precious with it, and he's willing to make jokes with it that I found very refreshing. Very good. And if anyone out there has not watched The Ladies' Man, you gotta watch it.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah. The set makes it completely worth it. And then the performances and the humor and blah, blah, blah. But okay, we are not here to talk about The Ladies' Man. Can you imagine though if we just did a Ladies' Man redo 1 week later, just like Jerry Lewis did?
Oh boy, we're getting there.
Okay, but before we hop into today's film, Funny Face, I mentioned earlier that this month has a theme. Now, here at Movie Friends, this year we're not doing themed months each year, but once a quarter, our patrons nominate and then vote on themes. You nominated costumes designed by Edith Head. Why was that something that you, out of every topic, genre, actor, why was that one that you nominated?
Do you want the real story or the one that makes me sound good?
Both, but do the real one first so that the sound good one is lessened.
Okay, the real reason is back in the year 2001 on September 11th. Mm-hmm. Some of you may remember that day.
What?
This is 100% not made up. The band They Might Be Giants released an album called Mink Car.
Yes.
which features a song called She Thinks She's Edith Head. And so I listened to that, right when it came out. I didn't know who Edith Head was. I was an engineering student at school who liked movies, but, that was about it.
Sure.
And there's a line in there, she thinks she's Edith Head or Helen Gurley Brown or some other cultural figure we don't know a lot about. And I'm like, oh, that's true. I don't know a lot about that. So it wasn't until years and years later when I'm like, who is Edith Head, by the way? I looked her up, the greatest costume designer of all time. And then shortly before nominating it, I can't even remember what movie I was watching, but her credit pops up at the beginning. I'm like, oh, that's great. I should nominate that for the theme. That's the real story. The one that makes me sound better is that I've been a longtime fan of Edith Head and her beautiful costumes and like Roman Holiday. And, I just looked up her filmography a couple weeks ago. Right. So I didn't even know any of this, but I would like to pretend that I did. And that's why I nominated it.
There you go. I love anything related to They Might Be Giants. So the fact that they helped bring you to her is pretty incredible. There's a lot worse. You could have come to her through The Incredibles, which I think is how most people
Edna
come
Mode.
to Edith Head.
Yeah.
Yes, Edna Mode, Edith Head. They look the same. They have the same kind of, snappy, no nonsense attitude. Yes.
See, when I watched The Incredibles, I didn't even put that together.
Neither did I when I was 16, when that movie came out. But it's awesome. And I'll mention this later, but it is so great watching movies from across all time. And I'm including modern films of that too, just to see how they take from each other and pay homage to each other. I recently watched the movie Do Revenge, the Netflix movie, and that movie was not on my radar at all. I like Maya Hawke, but beyond that, I probably never would have seen it. And then my friend recommended it to me, and I was like, oh my God, this is such a great pastiche of every teen movie that you've ever seen, but without feeling, to me at least, it never felt like it went so far that it wasn't its own thing. It was just very, very aware of what it was honoring, I suppose. I recommend it. I had a really good time with it, especially like if you're a fan of Heathers and Clueless and 10 Things I Hate About You, you will recognize almost every scene is an homage to the craft is in there. There's a lot in there.
I'm a huge fan of Can't Hardly Wait. Does that show up in there? That's a great teen movie. Well, anyway,
that's Can't Hardly Wait and Empire Records are my top 2 teen movies.
My man.
And we haven't done either of them on this show, which is crazy, but yeah.
Well, I've got a flight to Boston tomorrow morning, so maybe I'll download Do Revenge and check it out. It sounds good.
Yeah. Hey, if you hate it, don't blame me, okay?
I won't. Never.
Don't do revenge on me, okay?
Well, if you hated this movie, don't blame me either. If you hated Funny Face.
That's right, because this was your pick. This was you're taking Michelle's spot for this month. Okay. All right. We got to get into this movie. So, as you just mentioned, today we are talking about Funny Face from 1957. This movie is directed by Stanley Donen, written by Leonard Gersh, edited by Frank Bracht, cinematography by Ray June, composed by George Gershwin, costume design by Edith Head and Hubert de Givenchy. I'm sure I'm saying that not right.
That was pretty close.
Givenchy. Starring Audrey Hepburn, Fred Astaire, Kay Thompson, Michelle Auclair, and Robert Fleming. This movie was made for around $3 million, and this was not a box office success initially. It made about $2.5 million, and then they re-released it later on after another Hepburn film had come out, maybe My Fair Lady, I'm not sure, and it did a lot better and made the studio money, which is what we really care about, folks. We
exactly.
We really just We really just care if that studio makes their money back. And then as far as the production days, I couldn't really get like a super firm grasp on it. So I'm just going to leave that part blank for now. Schuyler, you want to put on your wedding dress and fall in love with a man 30 years older than you and read our summary?
I certainly do. Jo Stockton has no time for frivolous things like fashion. She's a philosopher living in New York City, selling books and preaching the gospel of empathicalism, a philosophy based in empathy. One day, while minding her business at work, a crew from a fashion magazine bursts into her life and store, completely upending it. Now chosen to be the new face of the magazine's latest campaign, Jo finds herself in Paris, deciding between the life of a philosopher and that of a model. Will Jo follow her passions and join up with her philosophical hero, Professor Emile Flostre? Will she give in to the advances of fashion photographer Dick Avery and become the world's most successful model? Will she be able to overcome her hideous looks and penchant for learning to become more than just a funny face?
All right, so as we mentioned earlier, this was your pick. You could pick from any of the movies of Edith Head that we hadn't done already. And this was a movie that I had not seen before. So if you'd like to, let us know why Funny Face.
Well, I hadn't seen it before either, and I love to watch movies that I haven't seen before. I just went through the list. I love musicals. I like Fred Astaire. I like Audrey Hepburn. I thought, how could this go wrong? Let's do Funny Face.
This go wrong.
Oh boy. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So having said that, what was your general first impressions of the film?
First impressions, I was blown away. I loved it until a specific scene about 15 minutes in, and then the wheels just completely fell off, and I spent the rest of the movie just wondering what the heck happened. The opening, the song Think Pink that it starts with is just so much fun. It's exactly what a musical should be. And then there's a kiss between our two leads that is the least chemistry I've ever seen between two people on film. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
That's one way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. So did it come back for you? Like, was it an up and down, or was it just like, I don't like this anymore?
It was a roller coaster. Like, there are a few musical numbers in there that are just great. They're just great. And I think I was doing some research trying to understand what had happened. And every part that I didn't like was from a previous musical of the same name from like 1927 with a completely different plot.
Right.
Like the worst scenes didn't belong in the movie, and it totally felt like that. So I'd go up and down. I think, yes, the movie's back with, Bonjour Paris while they're running around Paris. Yes. Beautiful stuff. And then the next scene is another zero chemistry romance scene. You're like, oh no, okay, so it was very roller coaster ride for me.
Yeah, definitely. I had a similar experience. We were talking earlier about watching movies from different time periods and seeing how they either rip each other off or are just nice homages to them. And here on this show, we have done both Devil Wears Prada films.
Yep.
And so the opening to this, I was like, wait a minute. Wait. Her desk is literally the same size as Miranda Priestley. Her desk is the same distance between the window and the wall. What on earth is happening here? So that was very fun, and that was cool to see.
I thought the same thing. Maybe not about the desk. I didn't notice that, but when we first meet Dick Avery, Fred Astaire playing Dick Avery, I had him pegged for the Stanley Tucci role.
Yes.
Like, he's going to be this great, mentor for our new model who doesn't want to be a model. This is going to be great. And then they turned it into a romance. And I'm like, thank God they didn't do that with Devil Wears Prada, because that would have been a disaster.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, we launch into Think Pink, and it's the type of movie making that I really like, which is very silly and very absurd. You have 5 or 6 women who are speaking in unison she holds up something pink and she's like, "That's it," and then they just launch into a song and dance number. For me, I either like movies that are so far pie in the sky, insane production and absurd showmanship, or I like stuff that's like way down on the ground, made for no money. It's the in between stuff where I'm like, I don't really know about this. So Think Pink, I was like, this is incredible. How have I never seen this movie before? What is happening here? There was one shot in particular in Think Pink, and it's three women. I think there might be a car behind them. They're all kind of walking towards the camera. There's a lot happening, and I was like, if I were the type of person to like do mushrooms and I was on mushrooms at this moment, I think my brain would like break and like drip out of my nose and ear holes. Like, it was so mind-blowing. And I was like, this is incredible. This is incredible. This is incredible. And I agree with what you said about their chemistry, but there were a lot of things in the movie that I liked. So it wasn't like a miserable experience once we went down. I think chief among the sins of this movie, and that's saying a lot because this movie has some really, really poor taste in a few of its decisions, is just trying to convince us that Audrey Hepburn is the funny face of Funny Face. My God.
It makes no sense. Like,
okay, but it makes no sense. Now, before we talk about this for 20 minutes straight,
right,
which I feel that we might be about to do, is that the joke? Is that a joke? Is that the joke that it's like this person clearly is not ugly?
I mean, I think that's part of the joke, but it doesn't come across very funny. Like, honestly, I found a lot of the humor in this to be kind of mean-spirited, including that. Like, it just didn't work for me as a joke. And of course, it doesn't work as a non-joke because it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, even from the moment she first shows up in a frumpy, boxy brown, like tweed dress, she's Audrey Hepburn, right? I mean, she's the princess of some unnamed company from Roman Holiday a couple of years earlier. Like, we all know who this is. Yeah.
Yeah. That was another thing. Like, if we go to one of the other just incredibly egregious cases of this, Princess Diaries, Anne Hathaway, who just has always been and remains a beautiful human being. In Princess Diaries, they at least try a little harder before she gets the makeover. In this, though, it is literally Audrey Hepburn just wearing a slightly boxy dress.
Yeah.
That is it. That like, the only thing that they could do was be like, put her in something that is maybe ill-fitting. Maybe. And I don't even know. I'm not Edith Head. I don't know anything about what women should be wearing. So to me, I was like, when we're introduced to Jo, I was like, yeah, there she is, the world's most beautiful woman.
Well, to be fair, she did also work in one of those sinister places in Greenwich Village, right?
Oh my God. Well, okay. Yeah. That's the other part of the movie that I really am like, yikes a Rooney. Oh.
Yeah. At least they don't spend too much time pretending that she's really ugly. They get through that pretty quick, and when she starts to wear these beautiful Givenchy gowns and stuff. So they get that out of the way, but it is utterly ridiculous.
So on that, before we move on too far, Audrey Hepburn, what is your relationship to Audrey Hepburn? Were you aware of her growing up? Do you recall when she entered your life?
Probably sometime around age 20, right there. Probably in college, was watching a lot of movies and fell in love with My Fair Lady, which remains to this day one of my very favorite movies, maybe my second favorite musical. and have seen the stage production, obviously not with Audrey Hepburn, it's several times. It's just such a fun thing. And so I fell in love with her there and watched, I think I had a box set with Roman Holiday and Sabrina. And so I'd seen a lot of her movies, but it'd been a while since I watched an Audrey Hepburn movie before this. So it's kind of like seeing her fresh again. She's very, very beautiful.
Yes. When I was growing up, my sisters were fans of Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Okay.
They thought that A Cat Named Cat was just the greatest thing ever. We definitely watched Breakfast at Tiffany's, which I think is a movie that does not live up to its cultural place. It's, everyone loves to get points for pointing out how horrible Mickey Rooney's performance is in the movie, right? And rightfully so, by the way. Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's is one of the most monstrous cases of whitewashing. And it feels crazy to even call it whitewashing, because whitewashing is generally when a person plays a character that's a different race than theirs. This is nothing. This isn't. This is so far from reality that it's like cartoon washing. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah.
Now, maybe if Jerry Lewis had played that character, we'd be a little bit different, but no, I don't think so.
No.
That might be worse.
But again, apart from Mickey Rooney and Breakfast at Tiffany's, I just remember being pretty disappointed with the film overall. I mean, look, Moon River, incredible. I think that's top 100 great movie music moments, But other than that, I prefer my George Peppard in the A-Team. You know what I mean? After that, I've seen several Audrey Hepburn films. I always appreciate her. If anyone has not seen The Children's Hour with Audrey Hepburn and Shirley MacLaine, it is amazing, amazing, amazing movie. Yeah, really, really great. I won't say anything about it. I think Hepburn, obviously, as we've mentioned many times already in this episode, she is very, very beautiful, but she's also incredibly talented. She's so well-spoken. She has such a great presence. She's got such a great face beyond, the beauty of her face. Mm-hmm. She can do so much with her face. And I appreciated her work here in this. I really did. It was just some of the scenes and some of the themes that I was like, now, like you said, this movie is based on a stage show from 30 years prior, starring a 30 years younger Fred Astaire, right? And so we talk about legacy sequels now. A legacy remake starring the same person in the same role is crazy talk.
It's
30
nuts.
years later. Yeah.
Although from my understanding, the plot is almost totally different too. So it's just same name, shares a few songs, and other than that, they just reinvented it and put a 57-year-old.
Right, which is crazy because it's like you had an out. It's not like he's the only man that could play Dick in the whole world. No one else could take this role. You're totally changing the plot. Yeah. Get someone else. And I mean, look, Fred Astaire, he's a great get, of course. He's very talented. I find him to be, charming. He's a good presence as well. Mm-hmm. But the two of them together, there is one scene. I'll save it for later. But there is one scene that I was like, wow, this is kind of magical. But it's bizarre. It's really bizarre. It's and I mean, look, hey, I'm not an anti-age gap person. You know what I mean? Please, it has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with, like you said, the chemistry starts off on the foot of him just kissing her. And she's like, yeah, you should not have done that. And he's like, I think I'm going to pursue a relationship with you.
you're leaving out the part where immediately after he leaves her bookshop, she starts singing a song about, actually, he was right. I did want to be kissed. How long has this been going on?
How long? Yes.
It makes no sense given what we've seen on camera. I do want to comment a little bit about Fred Astaire. I love him so much. Like, he is so effortlessly graceful. Like there's a scene, I think it's in Bonjour Paris. He's just going downstairs in the most graceful way you could possibly imagine. The simplest things, and he's just so wonderfully at home in his body, which I guess comes after 50 years of dancing professionally, right? Like it's just I'm blown away. Everything he does, every way he moves is just so perfect. And this is like a 60-year-old guy, right? He's like 57, I think. Just incredible. The one drawback to that is that Audrey Hepburn is a good dancer. But Fred Astaire is as much better than her, I think, as she is than me. Like, it's a totally... well, maybe not quite. But he's just so good. And so some of the times where they were dancing together, it was like, put somebody else, the Fred Astaire with Audrey Hepburn, or put somebody other than Audrey Hepburn with Fred Astaire. I went back and watched a Ginger Rogers Fred Astaire movie after watching Funny Face because trying to understand if it was Fred Astaire was the problem in Funny Face that I didn't like. And no, they are just fantastic together and the dancing is perfect. So that was one of the things that, another thing other than just their chemistry, the dancing together, just it revealed too much of a gap for me.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then character-wise as well, there's just such a divide. And that I think gets to my real frustration with the film. Now, look, I'm a person who fully believes that opposites attract and work well together. I think that a lot of the relationships that I've known and been in, sometimes it really works when you have one person who's a little quiet and one person who's a little not. You don't all have to be into the same exact things and have the same careers, but you do have to have adoration for the other person. And Dick has no adoration for Joe. Like none. He just flat out tells her, I don't care about your brain. And like, okay, look. Okay, all right. If you are listening to this and you love Funny Face, we are not trying to, be two super cool woke guys and take down a Stanley Donen film for some kind of social points. We get it. Like romance sometimes is messy and complicated and romance isn't always perfect and whatever. But this one, like, you and I can watch other movies from this time period with problematic elements that are romantic. This is not romantic.
Yeah, exactly. I what you mentioned about him not being interested in her brain, I wrote that down. The first time I watched it, there's a scene where towards the end, Dick says, he's about as interested in your intellect as I am. I had to pause the movie and be like, oh my gosh, this is... I mean, it's a perfectly written line if that's what you're trying to get across, that Dick's being, well, his namesake.
Right.
But like, wow, blew me away that they put that in there. Loved it.
It's just like that line especially, but also that line doesn't come out of nowhere where it feels so like, wait, that's totally out of left field. This is how he has been treating her the entire movie. Like since walking into her shop. If you had Maggie, which we will talk about Maggie. I love Maggie.
I loved Maggie.
If you had her as more of the Miranda Priestley variety, where she's a monster, but Dick isn't, and Dick comes in and he's like, hey, I'm really sorry about that. No, he's just as flippant as she is. Yes, he stays behind at the end to kind of help stack up some books, but then he kisses her and makes fun of her. And he's like, oh, philosophy, what's that? You're a loser. Okay, bye. There's no, like, I don't feel like Dick has a moment where, as he's directing her while taking the photos, I think that he does see something beyond what he had seen before. But at that point, the movie is so well underway that it feels like it's like too little too late, like yikes.
Yeah, he comes across as borderline cruel in a lot of things, and that's one of the things that I didn't like. A lot of people do in this movie. Basically, only Joe comes across as a nice person, and the only one that doesn't get made fun of really is Dick. I mean, they're cruel to the philosophers, they're cruel to the fashion people, they're cruel to the Floridians. Like, just this really like mean-spirited humor, and a lot of it's coming from Dick himself. So a lot of that didn't land for me. Like the scene where Dick goes to the underground cafe to try to find Joe, and there's a French couple sitting out front at a table, and the young woman says, I listened to this, I watched this scene a bunch of times so I could try to figure out what she says. She says, "Salaud de glace, je vous déteste," which roughly translates to "you cold bastard, I hate you." And then he slaps her, and they start making out. And it's like, this is what the movie's trying to say about French intellectuals of the 1950s. And it's just so, it's not just stupid, it's also like mean and not real. So that was just a lot of the humor is like that.
Ratatouille does a similar joke. They do a very similar joke where when Emile is like running through all the different houses, like on his way to the restaurant or whatever, he comes across a French couple who are arguing. And I think that they have a gun. Like, I think that like they shoot a gun or something, and then they start making out. So
maybe it is real. I don't know. I've never been to France.
I don't know, but there are things in films where if you are not on the ride, they are just compounding what you don't like about the movie. And I should say, like, I didn't hate this movie. I didn't hate this movie kind of at all. There were parts of it that I really did not like, but for me, that was definitely a compounding of, you know what, guys? Unless we're going to like subvert abusive relationships, maybe this isn't funny. Maybe it's not funny to joke about these things. I had started to say earlier about that line from Dick when he says he's about as interested in your intellect as I am. He is comparing himself to a man that in his eyes is a monster, because he is just using his position and his smarts and whatever. He's using all these things to get in bed with Audrey Hepburn. That's how he sees this guy. And he's comparing himself to that guy. I was like, Dick, stop and think. What are you? And not even like in a, hey man, watch what you're saying. This isn't going to look good for you. But like, Dick, maybe you should stop and realize that not caring about her intellect isn't a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, he did turn out to be exactly right about Professor Emile Flostra.
Right.
So there is that. I mean, now that I'm thinking of it, Dick is basically right about everything in the movie.
Well, I mean, this is told from a man's perspective, so.
True. Yeah, good point.
Of course he's right about everything. Yes. And, on that too, at that point, they are together. Like they have had romantic feelings, and he just can't stand the idea of her going and doing this thing that she has wanted to do. That's crazy to me. Like, at a minimum, you'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll go with you. Or like, I'll hang out here. Let me learn about you. Let me learn about this whole thing. I like you. And so I would like, no, he's just like, excuse me. No, this is not happening. And it's like, just immediately she loses every part of herself because you are uncomfortable with it. Like,
I mean, he wouldn't even dance with Gigi or Mimi at the club.
Right. You're Fred Astaire. Someone walks up to you and they're like, hey, you want to dance? You'd be like, yeah, sure. Dance for 5 seconds? Yeah, whatever. Right. Yeah. It's as easy as breathing for him. And yeah, I did like that. I liked that Joe was offended. Like, you can't do that to Mimi.
Well, where Dick comes from, the men ask the women to dance. He's what was the line? He's inhibited by outmoded social conventions, I believe is what Joe said. Yeah.
Right. And okay, like that line, I think it's okay to not hide behind those truths. I'm old-fashioned in a lot of ways. I'm going to just say it. Like me as a human being, there's a lot of things that I am old-fashioned about. There's a lot of things that I'm not. But what I'm not going to do is say to someone, listen, this is just the way I am and it will never change. I think if you know something about yourself, that's half, G.I. Joe, right? And now you know, and knowing is half the battle. So if he knows this about himself, it should not be a shield. It should be a doorway, a gateway to a happier life or a more understanding sense of the world. So I liked that he acknowledged it, but I didn't like that it was just, hey, toots, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
So on the French, like this really does become, they do use the age gap and the culture gap between them. And that kind of becomes the main like tension in the movie, because you have, high society, New York, fashion, money. It's so important that you come to this showing and greeting of the press. And then you have Bohemian, and this is like pre-hippie, beatnik, Bohemian, French philosopher stuff. And the way it's depicted in this movie, it doesn't offend me that they're talking negatively about Bohemian culture. It offends me that they're not doing it funnily in a funny way.
It's really not funny. What do they focus on this French woman singing a sad song for like, it felt like forever, and none of that was, I mean, maybe it was funny in 1957, I don't know.
Right It's like, oh, look at these people. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, what is she saying? She's saying she was so mad that she killed her lover, but now that he's dead, she's sad.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good song, actually.
Yeah, I'd listen to that.
That sounds like a song. What an idiot for singing. You know, like, what am I supposed to laugh at here? Mm-hmm. There's the one guy who's like in an upside down pose, and Fred Astaire's kind of, he's like, oh, what's he doing? And then he doesn't even have a good line to sum it up. He just says like, it feels real good when you stop. And I'm like, what is that? Like, that's not a joke. That's not a joke.
Not at all. Yeah. He'd been like that for 3 hours though. So it probably does feel pretty good when you stop, but that's just a statement of fact, right?
Yes.
It's not funny.
Absolutely. Not that I'm going to give Stanley Donen notes, but maybe try, hey, my record was 2.5. Good for him.
Right. Anything.
That's a joke.
Yeah. I will admit I did like the joke that came a couple minutes later when Dick pointed out that the guys she was talking to were just hanging out with her because she was buying the wine. And when she said, oh, it's so fine, they understand me based on the tone of my voice. And he said, oh, so sort of like a dog. That's a joke. That was pretty funny. That made me laugh.
Right.
But
But
for the most part, yes. I wasn't there in the 50s. I wasn't a beatnik, right? I don't know how accurate this is, but it didn't strike me as funny.
Well, I mean, it's always, we know with comedy, it's not funny to punch down. It's funny to punch up. I don't think that any one person or group is beyond making fun of either. Sure. I actually think that humor and being able to laugh about ourselves is actually one of the stepping stones towards general acceptance, because when you're around someone and it's like, oh, I can't laugh at you. We laugh at each other. It's what humans do. You feel, well, you're uppity or you're this or you're that. And so when someone is able to make fun of themselves, I think that that's good. However, it has to be funny. And it just isn't. And so it just comes across as like you said, mean, and we don't even really like these people to begin with. I mean, let's just get into it. Maggie, I do like Maggie. She's so weird. She could have been written like a little bit more one note. And I think at the beginning of the movie, I thought she would be not the antagonist, but I thought she would be more the figurehead. And then she turns out to be the third wheel to the comedy troupe. And I did not expect that from where we meet her. After the Think Pink number, someone says to her, yes, it's so great. Everyone's wearing pink except for you. And she says, I wouldn't be caught dead.
Oh, man, that was so good.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's the cynical fashion magazine editor, right? She sets the trends. She doesn't follow them. So, yeah. But I loved Maggie. So I had never seen Kay Thompson before. I'm like, who is this? She's amazing. Turns out this is basically the only movie she was ever in.
Yeah. Yep. I looked at that and that was a bummer. She's the author of the Eloise children's book series,
which also blew my mind. I'm like, okay, I did not see that connection coming for sure.
Very cool. But I loved her. I mean, I loved her in this movie. When they get to Paris and she's just like, I am so tired, I'm going right to the hotel. And I think that you guys should too. And they're like, yeah, of course. And then they do the Paris number, which I laughed at because I was like, is being a tourist the worst thing in the world? That you have to like lie? You have to lie about going to the oh my God, what is the thing in France? What's the thing in
Eiffel
Paris
Tower?
You have to lie about going to the Eiffel Tower? Like, what are you, crazy?
Well, these are sophisticated worldly people, either fashion industry folks or philosophers. They don't do that touristy stuff. So yes, they do have to pretend. But
right.
Watching that scene where they all explore Paris to a great song. That's one of the highlights of the movie for me, the Bonjour Paris.
Definitely.
They're doing split screens and these things that you can only do in musicals. It felt like a travelogue. Like an advertisement for Paris. And I looked it up, and I can't verify this, but my suspicion is that the U.S. government was working with Hollywood to encourage American tourism to Europe in the post-World War II era to, bring those big American bucks over there. That's my conspiracy theory.
It's funny because when you say things like that, it's like, oh, that sounds like Schuyler sounds a little and then you learn that, like, no, actually people do that. And it really is as simple as that. Like, a government will approach America and say, hey, we want to increase tourism. And America's like, let me call up my buddies. Hey, can you put some Paris scenes in movies?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, sure. Do we get a grant? Yeah. And they're like, okay. And
done.
It's as boring and as simple as that. The part about conspiracy theories that never get it right is that you imagine the conspiracy is fun and that people are like evil when really it's all just like benign, like, it's like, numbers had to go here. That's kind of the end of the story.
Oh, shoot, I owe that guy in France a phone call. Before the end of the week, I better get that out of the way. Yeah.
Right, yes, exactly, yeah. That's why Dr. Strangelove is maybe one of the better movies about, high concept conspiracy theory government stuff. And then you watch it and it's literally just dudes in a room being like, okay, what do we do? What are we doing right now? Oh my God. We should do Strangelove on the show.
Oh boy, that would be a big one.
That is one of my favorite. I've seen everything Kubrick has done, including the shorts, and Strangelove is still one of the tops. It's
got to be.
God, it's so good. Anyway, back to Maggie. I love Maggie. I think she's a lot of fun. She gets the kind of like summing up of the movie where, the movie's talking about empathy, and earlier on they're talking about like, oh, put yourself in my place. So at the end, when they have a misconnection and each has gone to look for each other, Maggie says, well, if you put yourself in her place and she puts her in yours, one of you will end up in someone's place.
Such a good line. Yeah.
I feel like we've been saying negative things about the movie. And I'm going to keep doing that. The number that Maggie and Dick do, which I will not repeat the lines of here.
Good choice. Yeah.
I was like, this is White Christmas levels of holy moly. If you haven't seen White Christmas in a while, folks, there's a big surprise in the middle of it. And yeah, I was just like, I think this movie has lost me. I was okay with the abusive relationship stuff, but you lose me at the folk singers doing semi-spiritual as a joke. Yikes, Rooney.
So leaving aside the lyrics to the song, their performance is great. They're dancing together, their choreography. Fred Astaire's wearing the guitar low slung like Billy Joe Armstrong or something, like he's a punk rocker.
I did appreciate when he was tapping out the rhythm.
Yeah. But well, let's not talk about the actual contents of the song that they used to get into Flostra's office.
Yeah. Now on that, how do you feel about the songs for this film?
Again, it's a roller coaster. So the ones that were adapted or just stolen from the earlier production from 30 years before, I don't like at all. I think he loves and she loves. I think there's a couple others. The ones that are original for this, I absolutely love. Think Pink, Bonjour Paris, How to Be Lovely. The ones that feel like they're supposed to be in this movie, there's absolute highlights. I just love them. And something about the way Stanley Donen stages musical numbers, like he did in Singing in the Rain. He loves those long, flowing pieces of fabric. Just absolutely great.
Oh my God.
Every time one of those came on, I'd get back on board with the movie. Be like, yes, this is what I'm watching.
Right. During Think Pink, there's like a superimposed animation.
Yeah.
Of either like toothpaste or something. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so good. It is a shame. I mean, musicals often will have that problem where the opening is the opening, and the opening, if you're seeing something live, the opening has to really grab you, and it's usually fantastic. And then it's, sometimes diminishing returns until the end of Act 1. And then, but okay, so here's my notes. I did not look up the titles of these songs. So I wrote, Think Pink. Great. How long has this been going on? Not good. Funny Face. Bonjour Paris. It's good. Let's Kiss and Make Up. How to Be Happy. Good. Ring Them Bells. Yikes. Swonderful. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm right about there with you. I think. I will say, what was the one, Kiss and Make Up or whatever? The song stinks, but then Fred Astaire does this like bullfighter dance in the courtyard for 3 or 4 minutes. That's amazing.
Yep.
So fluid and fun, and leave out the song and let's just do the dance.
And yes, that's how I felt. I felt that most of these songs were not memorable. And I love musicals. I really love musicals. Musicals, it pairs like two of my favorite things. Like I said earlier, the super high production value, the hammering out of every detail of so many facets. If you're doing a play and it's just dialogue, you still have to hammer out, where am I? Where am I looking? Where is my body? What is the blocking? How quickly am I saying this? How quickly is the other person? You still, all those things. But then you put it to music. And so now the music has to be completely in time. And then you add choreography. And I love that. I love that. And musicals are also absurd. It's surreal. And I love surrealism and I love absurdity. So I love musicals. So again, if you're listening to this and Funny Face is your favorite movie and you've somehow made it this far, you are a trooper or you are just addicted to screaming in your car at us. I love musicals. However, when the majority of a musical's book is not memorable to me, I don't like the musical parts of that movie. To me, so many of these songs sounded exactly like each other. Like there wasn't enough character except for Think Pink and Bonjour Paris. How to Be Happy, I think, was just charming because I like Maggie and I like Joe, and seeing the two of them again, like, Maggie could have been an archetype of I am the cold, ruthless boss.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's doing like a little song and dance number and they're wearing like handkerchiefs on their head.
Right.
Like it's like Big, right? It's like the piano scene in Big. The reason why that's so memorable isn't because it's fun to watch old men dance on a piano. It's because of who the two characters are and their dynamic with each other. So I was getting big vibes.
Big vibes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not hostile vibrations.
Not hostile vibrations. Definitely not. Definitely not.
I'm right there with you on musicals. Like, not to be that guy, but like, I think musicals are the purest form of cinema. Really,
I almost agree. Yes,
like it's a thing you can only do in movies, with the music and the writing and the dancing and the camera moving around, showing you whatever it wants. Right. Absolutely love musicals. Some of my favorite movies. I think I already mentioned My Fair Lady. Top 10 movie of all time. Sound of Music. I love it. So I'm not anti-musical at all. Like, but I agree. The songs just aren't super memorable. I haven't found myself humming or singing them, which I do, or whistling. I whistle constantly all the time, much to the chagrin of my entire family. But I haven't been whistling these songs. I've been whistling Christmas songs.
Right.
All year.
Okay. Now, just to pepper in some good stuff, I will say, and again, I don't know exactly which number this is, the wedding dress dance that's outside, that they then repeat later. Genuinely, as I'm watching it, I said to myself, this is, to me, kind of what movie magic is. It looks so good. It does feel romantic to me in that scene. I love the chemistry of their dancing. And I had a thought as it was happening. I was like, my God, what an honor it would be to be dancing with Fred Astaire. And then my brain immediately went, what an honor it would be to be dancing with Audrey Hepburn. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, and so like the weight of that kind of came over me of like I am witnessing like two all out legends having what I felt was their first really good scene. And I got very swept up in it. And then we end in the exact same place. And then when they hop on the raft and float away, I was like, yes, that is awesome.
It's beautiful. And she's wearing the Givenchy wedding dress with a big full tulle skirt and the dropped waist bodice. It just looks fantastic. That is movie magic. I will say I didn't pick up the romantic vibes. To me, it felt like a wonderful scene at the end of, like, I don't know, Father of the Bride or something, like a daddy-daughter dance, right? Like the father-daughter dance at the wedding. That's the vibe I was getting, but it is just
more chemistry.
Fantastic.
More chemistry and more, like, I guess, accepting of each other. Where, you know, that scene that you mentioned with him doing the Matador dance, she's witnessing this. It's not necessarily something that's happening. Audrey Hepburn's dance in the club, he's witnessing that. He's like watching this thing happen. And so to me, this is like, okay, wow, like here it is. Finally, they're together and and they're not talking. So it's not icky because every time they talk to each other, Dick says something absolutely horrible. So if you could clip just that and show that to someone, they'd be like, wow, this must be the most romantic movie of all time.
Close. Almost. Yeah.
Almost. To me, Brief Encounter still holds that spot, but you know.
Fair. Yeah.
Okay. I just mentioned it. And before we start to wrap up, we cannot not talk about the absolutely iconic and insane Audrey Hepburn turtleneck dance. What did you think of this?
It goes on for a long time.
It does.
I felt like I kind of felt like Fred Astaire in that, or sorry, Dick Avery in that scene, just watching, like, not knowing what is going on. It was a release, I guess. You know, she just had to get it out of her, get it out.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, I agree with everything that she said. maybe not everything she did.
The jazz number was pretty good too, I gotta admit. That was like a groovy tune.
Yeah, it was. I was a little half and half on it, only because you can tell that it's framed to be funny. But part of me was like, I do kind of just want to watch Audrey Hepburn do like a little interpretive freeform jazz number.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, who wouldn't want to see that? And the fact that this is like still just like being made fun of, and that her character prefaces this thing with, I just want to express myself. Dance, like, what do you, like, dance isn't a romantic thing. Things that now in 2026, we do know, like, yes, your body needs to express itself in many different ways. Sometimes that's through singing. Sometimes that's through dancing. And it's not really cool to make fun of how people do that. So for her character to say this very cool, modern thing, and then the movie to kind of like turn it into a joke, I'm like, oh, Donan, like, just come on, man.
Yeah, so close, but yet so far. We can't move on. We can't wrap up without talking at least a little bit about the costumes, right? Because that was one of my very favorite parts of the movie. Yeah, Fred Astaire in this movie, I think he was based on Richard Avedon, a real photographer. He's my new style icon. I mean, I loved his costume. I guess that would be Edith Head, since she did the costumes. But he's got, I think the first time we see him, he's got like these, I think they're called Hollywood waist pants with no belt loops. And instead of a belt, he's got a red sash tied around his waist. It's just incredible. And then in another scene, instead of the red sash, he's got like a golden metal link belt. Again, no belt loops on these pants. Spectacular. I mean, I think my very favorite costume that he had was in that wedding chapel dance scene where he's floating on the raft. You know, the silk cravat tied around his neck, the sky blue cardigan, the blue or the black and brown and white two-tone Oxford shoes. It's just the coolest guy you can imagine from 1950s New York City. I just loved his costumes.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, in every setup where they're having her model, which is so funny to me. Again, like, not to go back to this point, but the idea that like everyone in the office is like, her, a model? And even she is like, I can't be a model. I have a funny face. And then she's just instantly the world's greatest model. Like you mentioned, you know, Fred Astaire just being so comfortable in his body, but that comes from dancing for 50 years. You have Joe Stockton, who is like, I do not like fashion. I do not want to be a model. Oh, I'm just naturally the best model of all time.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But again, musical logic is even more absurd than movie logic. So we just have to go with it.
Yeah.
But every setup that they have, I mean, my God, when she, you know, I do not have crushes on actresses who've been dead longer than I've been alive. Yeah. But well, that's actually not true. Audrey Hepburn didn't die before I was born. But Audrey Hepburn running down the stairs saying, take the picture. And he's like, I can't. And she's like, I don't want to stop or whatever. I was just like, this is insane. Yeah. Like, oh my God, that is just so beautiful and adorable. And again, like her presence is just, she sells that like so, I mean, yeah, talk about, you know, descending a staircase in a great way. But yeah, every costume that she's in during all of those shoots it's really phenomenal. And this month has been really great for, you know, I'm a story guy and pretty much every other element of a film, I don't want to say doesn't move the needle for me because I can appreciate them, but it's really not what I'm looking for. And so staying with movies that feel like you're eating with your eyes has been a different headspace for me than maybe I've ever been in, to be honest with you, because my movie watching habits is like, okay, I'm going to watch one of the greatest films of all time. And then I'm going to watch like two of the worst films of all time. because I can't overload myself with goodness and I can't overload myself with badness. So I'm always swapping. I'm always going back and forth. So yeah, staying in this, it's really phenomenal. And Edith Head, definitely deserves all of the accolades for her incredibly hard work. And, she said in an interview, she said, I set out to become the world's greatest artist. And obviously that's not something that can actually be quantified, but man, she came real close.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh my. Yes, she did. Yeah. I totally, everything you said about that, the photo where they're doing the photo shoots around Paris, where that culminates with her coming down the stairs, everything in that whole sequence is just beautiful. Like all the outfits that Audrey Hepburn has on. Although I think my favorite of hers would have been the blue silk taffeta cape that she's about to wear to the press conference, and then goes to the club instead. That whole sequence is great, and that was my favorite outfit of hers. She takes it off, and she's got like this beautiful black and white floral gown on. Just fantastic.
Yep. I also want to just briefly mention one of my favorite just throwaway gags in the movie is the concierge who pretends to run after her. And I love that because so much of romantic comedies, it's all based on like misunderstandings or like misconnection, like, I heard the wrong thing and blah, blah. And so in this, they don't do that. They're just like, what if he doesn't run after? What if he doesn't miss her? What if it's just a guy who like doesn't feel like running? I thought that was very, very funny.
Yeah, that was a great one. Maybe that's just the French way.
Maybe.
Well, I'm not a New York guy. So what does it mean exactly when she says that she's living in Greenwich Village, but she's about to move uptown to Yonkers? I feel like I missed something in that joke. It sounds funny because Yonkers is a funny word.
Right. I think it's just like, hey, I live here, but I'm not like staying here, because at the time it was like poor people and artists and things like that. Okay. And so even though that's kind of where she wants to be, she is saying like, hey, I'm not stuck. I'm not poor, maybe.
Oh, all right. Well,
I also want to just mention, because last week, Michelle and I, we were talking about The Ladies' Man. We talked about the incredible opening of the book and the woman sitting there flipping through the book. I also loved this opening. This was really, really good. And I like how throughout the movie, they'll occasionally do things, like you mentioned, the split screen during Bonjour Paris, where they are bringing elements of like magazine art to the movie and like pulling things from the movie. So I don't have any great funny points about it. I just wanted to give a shout out to the opening credits.
Yeah, every time that they bring the light box back, because I think that shows up in the opening credits, looks amazing. And then they bring it back a couple of times. Every time I'd start to get back into the movie. Like, yes, I love the light box.
Can we just stay with the light box, maybe? Get away from making fun of the Bohemians?
Yeah, put Audrey Hepburn's face on a light box and I'll just watch that for 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, when she's in the dark room and she looks at her face, how can you make a model out of that? And I'm like, the most beautiful face of all time. Yeah, they're really going to struggle with you.
When I got to admit, I shouted out loud in my basement watching this movie when she opened the door with the red light above it to go into the dark. I was like, no, you can't do. Come on, Joe, you can't do that. But apparently it wasn't a big deal.
Well, she comes in and she's like, I'm sorry if I ruined your photos. And he just says, it's okay. He doesn't say, no, you didn't. He's just like, it's fine. And I was like, no, it's not, Dick. Literally, no, it's not. Like, what are you talking about?
Don't teach somebody that.
Exactly.
Kind of like a dog.
Right. All right, let's get into our happies and crappies.
It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crappies. It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crappies. It's time for happies.
Okay, so my happy for this movie is the costumes. Super obvious. and the cinematography during Think Pink. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
If they kept that up, this would be up there with, some of the greats. My crappy is that this movie made me, an aged punk who hates hippies with every fiber of his being, that it made me say, leave the beatniks alone, please. Enough of the punching bag with them. My God.
Wow.
Okay. How about you?
So my happy, it almost was the same as yours, almost Think Pink, but I think it was really that Paris photo shoot that they go on with there's a bunch of visual goofiness going on. They do some like filters over the camera, balloons floating away in animation, the beautiful outfits, the great locations, that whole sequence ending with her coming down the stairs in the red gown was that was the best. That was my favorite part. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. My crappy was the actual very moment that Dick in the bookstore leans over and kisses Joe in that bookstore called Embryo Concepts, which is a fantastic name. But that moment, that chemistry-free kiss, it just made my heart sink. I was like, oh, no, is this where we're going to go? Mm-hmm. And we did sometimes, and then sometimes not.
There's another Stanley Donen film, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen parts of it, but never the whole thing. Yeah.
There's a line in there. Oh, no, wait. No, I'm sorry. I'm attributing. It's Carousel, I think, has the line, he hit me and it felt like a kiss.
I've seen that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's okay. It's either Carousel or Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. If you're out there and send us an email, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. Let me know. But it was very much, yes, that kiss was very much of that sensibility where she literally says to him, like, why did you do that? And he says, well, I was practicing empathy. And I thought that I sensed that you wanted me to kiss you. And she's like, yeah, no, I didn't. Can you imagine doing that? Can you imagine doing that to a person? You think that they want you to kiss them. You kiss them and they say, why did you do that? I would run to the nearest subway
and throw yourself
jump
under the
in
train.
Front of a train. Yeah. Yes. That would be the end of me. And he's just like, I will continue exactly the way I am. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, we've talked about how we feel about the movie. So now let's hear from some strangers on the internet in a segment that we call Half Star, 3-Star, 5-Star. Half Star, 3-Star, 5-Star. These are reviews from letterboxd.com, which is a website and an app where you can log, rate, and review movies. We start with a half-star review, which is the lowest rating that you can give a film. And we go all the way up to a 5-star review, which is the highest rating that you can give a film. Now, on this show, I read a half-star review in an accent or an impersonation. Schuyler, do you have any requests? And I'm going to tell you right off the top that I cannot do an Audrey Hepburn.
That was not going to be what I would ask for. What I am going to spring on you is, can you do a Kay Thompson as Maggie Prescott as a Floridian spiritual singer?
Oh, my God. They're not even from Tallahassee.
Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect.
I know everyone from Tallahassee. Okay,
nailed it on the first try.
I'll try it. Yeah, why not? All right, so this is a half-star review for Funny Face, read by Kay Thompson as Maggie as a Floridian. This made me so mad. LMAO. Totally anti... What am I doing? Totally anti-intellectual, chauvinistic propaganda from a dying American institution. I'm flying through every southern state right now. Confronted with provocative European ideals. P.S. I love you, Audrey, you anti-fascist legend. I wish you got the films you deserved.
Wow. Like each consecutive sentence in that went farther from where I was expecting.
So this is the very rare half-star that I agree with. I don't agree that this is a half-star movie, but I agree with all these points. Pretty much I agree with all these points. Like, this is not a movie that I would really go to bat for if someone pointed out what was wrong with it. You know, I would say this was a different time, and then I'd say, and that's it. That, like, there's no other defense to me.
I mean, like you said at the beginning, it didn't make a lot of money. So even at the time, it was not a thing that people were really into. I mean, maybe until My Fair Lady came out or whatever it was. Yeah. So even, it's not that it didn't age well. It was never all that great.
Right. It didn't well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. 3-star review says, the 5 stars for Audrey's not so funny face gets bunked down by the romance with Grandpapa Fred Astaire. She is so perfect, and describing her as a bird of paradise is the most accurate comparison ever. And at the same time, he's just there.
That's that is accurate. Yeah. That's yep. I've got no quibbles with that one.
All right, 5-star review says, this movie changed my life when I was 14, and I still think it's the most beautiful piece of cinema ever. Fred and Audrey are a wonderful combination, in spite of the age gap, which for Hepburn is prevalent. Combined with the vibrant VistaVision images, this movie is pure magic. And I pulled that one because I gotta tell you, the 5-star reviews for Funny Face, not the most passionate 5-star reviews that I've read, but I wanted to pull this one to remind myself and to remind people out there that we don't often get to pick the movie that changes our lives, and we don't often get to pick the thing that connects with us. And yes, you and I have spent almost an hour and a half kind of making fun of this movie, but I do think it's important to remember that every movie is someone's favorite movie, and that's okay.
I feel like I'm in a weird position now. I didn't disagree with the 1/2-star review. I didn't disagree with the 3-star review, and I don't disagree with the 5-star review either. like, yep, I get it. All of these.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely, totally. All right. Normally, this is the part of the show where we talk about what Roger Ebert said, but he was not writing about movies at this point. So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Schuyler. Now, for the last few weeks, we've been asking people to send in a Roger Ebert segment jingle. And so without any prior warning, listeners, I am going to ask Schuyler live to give us his second best, third best maybe, Roger Ebert jingle. Ready, go.
I believe in a thing called Ebert. Just read what he wrote about the film.
Oh my God. That's awesome. Very good.
Please have this be the only time that ever is heard on this podcast.
No, that's entering our Ebert library. Folks, if you're listening to this, send us your Ebert clips, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. Take out your phone, go to your voice notes, sing a little jingle. You can do what Schuyler just did, which is cover a song. You can come up with a new thing. Send them in, okay? Please. Otherwise, I'm going to play that one every week until we get more.
So please send them in as soon as possible.
Schuyler is now personally invested in you sending these in. All right, so we rate things as a movie, schmovie, or a film. We rate it 1 through 5 stars, give our thoughts on the runtime, if we recommend it or not. We give a shout out to whatever part of the film's practical filmmaking stood out to us. And this month, in particular, we are also picking our favorite costume from the film. Okay. Now, before we record each episode, we write down a guess of what the other host will rate the film. And every time we guess correctly, we get to add a point to our tattoo tally. And whoever has the most points at the end of the year gets to pick a tattoo for the other host that they will then get tattooed on them without knowing what it is first. Now, Schuyler is not participating in the tattoo part of this, but depending on how he does, he may be able to win a point for Michelle here. I'm going to take myself out of this one. If I guessed your rating, I'm not claiming that as a point for myself. But if you guess me, we'll give it to Michelle.
Okay, so this is a win-win for me. Or yes, Michelle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Win-win for Michelle. Yes.
Yeah. Pressure's on.
Okay, so what did you guess for me?
I guess that you rated this a 3-star movie.
Oh, so close. So close. I was close to that. I'm gonna go with 3.5-star movie.
Okay.
I think that the high points are high enough to be memorable. The low points suck, and then the rest is just kind of benign.
Okay. I get it.
There's stuff in here like we talked about the entire episode that I don't need to repeat, but there's stuff in here that genuinely is like, this sucks. But Hepburn, her presence, I mean, going back to Breakfast at Tiffany's, her presence is able to cut through a lot of muck. And you add Fred Astaire, an older Fred Astaire, yes, but I also like seeing actors get old and still be on the screen and still do the things that they enjoy.
Well, I'm sorry, Michelle. I dropped the ball for you.
She'll be devastated. As far as the runtime, yeah, I mean, we've already mentioned there's some numbers that just kind of are there. And so to me, it would be really easy to trim this up a little bit. I don't know if I recommend this. I think I would recommend it in a specific situation. Like if someone was like, hey, I want to watch something with great costumes, then I would maybe reach for this one. I think the costumes are undeniable, of course, but I'm 50-50 on recommend right now.
Okay.
Practical filmmaking. I loved the train scene, the steam and then less steam, her crying, the way that, they're framing her within the camera frame because they're framing her within the picture frame. I thought that was very interesting and I loved that. And then my favorite costume, again, I'm giving it to the coming down the stairs dress with the sash.
Yeah, hard to deny that one.
Pretty phenomenal. Okay. So for you, I'm guessing pretty much what I guessed. What I rated it 3.5-star movie.
I went actually a bit lower than that. This is a 2.5-star movie for me.
Wow! Wow!
I the first time it was like first time I watched it was 3. The second time it was 2, and then I ended up in the middle. There's just too many things where I get pulled out of it.
Yeah.
To get to 3 stars. I kept getting excited when the great parts came up, and then it was just too disappointing. So I guess maybe identifying with the 0.5-star, the 3-star, and the 5-star review makes sense. I'm right there in the middle. As far as recommending it, I don't think I would. I'm in a similar boat to you. If somebody really was an Audrey Hepburn completionist, obviously you got to watch it. But I don't know that I would recommend it. Runtime, it's only 103 minutes, I think. So it's not too long. It's fine. I mean, there are certainly some things that I'd cut, but
felt like 3 hours to me.
Yeah, there are times where it does. And as far as practical filmmaking, so much of it I enjoyed. Basically everything on scene in Paris, the scenes where they're out doing the photo shoot, including the train one, the tiny little joke of a car. I think it's called an Isetta that Fred Astaire storms off in. Basically, he's like, I'm going to the airport, and gets into the most ridiculous tiny car. Those things were just fantastic. And my favorite costume, I think I already mentioned it, was that blue taffeta cape and gloves that she then takes off and reveals the black and white floral gown. Amazing. The gown, and then she gets soaking wet in a ridiculous funny scene, and it looks great wet too. She's running off, and it looks so stylish even then. It's just perfect.
Yep. Hey, if we look so stylish even when we're wet, we'd love it if you give us a rating and a review wherever you're listening. Folks, listen, if you hated this episode, it's Schuyler's fault. I got to tell you.
Yep, 100%.
It's not normally like this. So you know what? Don't rate us or review us based on this. Go through, find an episode. Find a good episode, okay? Go listen to E.T. Go listen to The Birdcage. You know what I mean? Those are, I think, the only 2 good ones that we've had. No, I'm just kidding. Schuyler, you did great. Actually, you know what? You should only rate and review us based on this episode, actually. Don't go any further.
This is a 5-star podcast.
Yes, absolutely. Come on, please. Hey, you can also send us an email, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. Look, folks, we do not do this just for yums and giggles, chuckles and jollies, okay? We need your emails, okay? We need you to tell us what you're watching. What are you eating? It's summertime. What are you planning on doing? Hey, did you get an illness because of eating vegetables? Let us know what that was like. That's moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. You can also support the show, patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Look, folks, enough is enough, okay? You've been listening to this show now, week in and week out. We are part of your Monday. We literally make your Monday better. I know that you listen on Monday. If you Thursday listeners are listening to this now, this isn't about you, okay? You've been listening to us for years. Enough is enough. You go to patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Okay? You sign up. It's $5 a month. You get access to our additional episodes, our patron-only Discord. You get to vote on upcoming movies every single month. Once a month. We get nominations from our patrons. They vote on them, and then we cover a movie. We have covered movies on this show that I would never have covered ever before with Michelle. And it's all thanks to the patrons. So if you just feel that you are lacking control in your life, you know what I mean? Hey, does your boss have you down? Do your kids not respect you? Does it feel like no one listens? Well, hey, guess what? You can have a real impact, okay? You can have an impact. Just like Schuyler. Schuyler nominated Edith Head month. We're watching all these movies just because of a whim, because of a They Might Be Giants song that he heard on September 11th, 2001. Okay? So that can be you, all right? Again, that's patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Okay, now, this is normally the part of the show where we talk about what episode we're doing next week, what movie we're covering. However, speaking of Patreon, we don't have all the votes in yet, so I don't know what we're doing yet, but I can tell you it will be a movie where Edith Head did the costumes, so that does narrow it down. That's it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to next week. I put my votes in.
Okay, very good, very good. You're an upstanding citizen. Schuyler, thank you so much. Where can people find you online?
I guess mostly they could find me on Twitter, or sorry, X, the app formerly known as Twitter.
Yes,
at a ton of bricks. It's mostly just ridiculous nonsense posting, and that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, folks, you got to get in there. One of my favorite Twitter follows. Very good. I feel that you and I have the same sense of humor, which is refreshing because it's dumb and not a lot of people are willing to do that. So yeah,
I'm proud to be one of your reply guys.
Do you think of me as one of your reply guys?
Oh no, you're an account that deigns to respond to a post occasionally.
No, Mike, stop.
Yeah.
No. I am a reply guy. I didn't know what a reply guy was for so long, and then it had it explained to me, and I was like, wait, but that's what I do.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you reply to guys?
Right.
Yeah. Fellas, is it gay to reply to your guys?
Who cares if it is? I'm going to do it anyway.
That's right. That's right. Well, Schuyler, thank you very much for filling in for Michelle and for picking this movie and for doing the episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And if you had a problem with the takes on Funny Face, email Seth and complain about me. I look forward to hearing those on the podcast in the future.
That's right. That's right. And hey, thank you very much for listening. And remember, folks, may I take this opportunity to tell you that you look like a mess of worms. And that you not only look like a mess of worms, but you are a mess of worms. Till next week, thank you for listening. Have a good one.
Movie Friends is produced by Seth Vargas and Michelle Rubenstein. Theme music by Jean Marie Vargas. Visit us at our website, moviefriendspodcast.com, and please subscribe and rate our show wherever you are listening. You can support Movie Friends at patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Thanks for listening.